There is a wallet sitting in a lot of back pockets right now that costs somewhere north of $100, and there is a near identical version of it on Amazon for about $15. Same two aluminum plates, same little elastic band, and according to the people who have actually owned both side by side, very possibly the same factory in China. That extra $100 did not buy you better metal. It bought you a logo and the most relentless advertising campaign in the history of pocket gear. That is the wallet market in a sentence. A shape that 100 companies make for pocket change, wrapped in a brand. A warranty that covers less than you think, and enough ad spend to follow you around the internet until you cave. I have carried a lot of these over the years, and I have wasted money on plenty of them, so today I am naming 6 wallet brands that are quietly robbing you blind, and 5 that are genuinely worth every dollar you hand over. One of these robbers is the single most advertised wallet on the planet, and when we get to it, I will give you a 30-second check that proves you are overpaying. One you can run yourself on your own phone. We start with the robbers. Robber number 1. Pick up a Groove Life wallet, and the entire pitch is the trigger. You push a little lever, the cards fan out, and for a second you feel like you are in a car commercial. Groove runs around $75 for an aluminum card holder built on that mechanism. And here is the problem hiding in plain sight. The trigger is plastic. It is the one part of the wallet you touch every single day, the only moving part in the whole thing. And they made it out of the cheapest material in the build. Owners keep reporting the cards spill right out of it, fanning onto the floor the moment you shake it or yank your keys out of the same pocket. That is the one job a card holder cannot fail. And it takes a real shove to fire. So you end up mashing the thing 2 or 3 times at the register while the line stacks up behind you. You are paying metal wallet money for a wallet whose signature feature is a plastic part that half works. Groove leans hard on that lifetime warranty, buy it for life language in their marketing, and a lifetime warranty on a moving part built to wear out just means you are going to get very familiar with the warranty. Magpul makes gun parts. Genuinely good ones, no argument. The stuff is overbuilt and it works. So they did what every brand with a devoted following eventually does. They put the logo on a wallet. And robber number 2 is the Tactical Tax at its purest. The DACA runs around $25, and it is a folded piece of reinforced polymer, which is a generous way of saying textured plastic. And here is the tell that should stop you cold. The seams are welded, not stitched. Welding is how you keep it thin, sure, but it is also how it dies, and owners keep reporting the edges fraying and the little pockets peeling apart right at the welds, because a welded seam has nothing holding it together once it starts to go. You are buying it because the logo whispers operator, and what you are actually getting is a plastic wallet that a $5 one will outlive. Your cards do not need to be mission ready. Nobody is fast roping into a checkout line. Buy the wallet that is genuinely built well, not the one that is dressed for a war it is never going to see. You already know robber number 3, even if the name does not land right away. The little red and white striped liner, the tidy label on a canvas billfold, Herschel. The Charlie card wallet runs around $30, and it is made of recycled polyester, which is a fancy way of saying nice fabric. The material itself is fine. The problem is what Herschel tells you it does versus what it does. They say it holds 7 or 8 cards, and in the real world you are maxing out around 5 before it splays open and stops holding cash at all. $30 for a fabric wallet that misses its one number is not a crime. But it is the cleanest little example of the thing that runs this entire market, which is the label tax. You are paying for the stripe. And if you want to see that tax in its final, undiluted form, walk into any designer boutique and pick up a folded piece of calf leather with a monogram stamped on it for $400. The actual leather in that thing costs a small fraction of the price. Everything else is the name. Herschel is the polite version. The designer houses are the exact same move with 2 more zeros on the end. Robber number 4 is the over-engineering tax, and I fell for this one personally, so I get the appeal. Dango. These are the machined tactical wallets, a slab of aircraft-grade aluminum wrapped in leather with a little multi-tool that slides into the spine. A dozen plus functions, a tiny blade, the works. And I will give Dango real credit, because it is the opposite of the ridge problem I am about to get to. These are genuinely well-made and handmade in the United States, not stamped out cheap overseas. That part is not the crime. The robbery is what you pay, and what it costs you to carry. A Dango runs north of $100, and the fancier ones climb past $200. And for that money you get a wallet that weighs about 3.5 ounces, which is a brick next to a leather card holder that weighs a fraction of it. You bought a minimalist wallet and it turned back into the fat wallet you were trying to escape, except now it is metal and it has a knife in it. And that knife is the second problem. The multi-tool blade does not clear airport security, and it wakes up the metal detector at the courthouse. So the one wallet you carry every single day is the one wallet that cannot actually go everywhere you go. I carried mine for about a month. I used the tiny screwdriver twice, then it moved to a drawer, which is where most of these quietly end up. You are paying gadget money for a novelty you will stop carrying. Herschel and Dango at least charge you out in the open. Robber number 5 buries its markup behind a permanent discount. Ekster makes a slim aluminum card holder with a trigger, usually somewhere between $100 and $140 depending on the model. First, a test you can run this second. Go to Ekster's website. I would bet real money there is a sale banner on it right now, 40% off, maybe more, and there is almost always a creator code stacked on top for another 20. That feels like a deal. It is not one. When a wallet is never once sold at its sticker price, that sticker price was fiction to begin with. It exists so the discount has something to stand next to. You are paying the exact number they always meant to charge, and they let you feel clever for it. Now the wallet itself. The trigger on the newer ones is finally metal, which is a real upgrade, but the older ones were plastic and snapped, sometimes inside a year. The deeper issue is the leather wrap. A buddy of mine is on his third Ekster for exactly this reason. The leather is glued onto the aluminum, and it peels away from the metal after a year or two, because glue is glue, and the first two failed the same way. Now, credit where it is due. Ekster's customer service is good, and they replaced each one, no fuss, but sit with what that actually means. The thing is built to come apart, and their fix is to mail you another one that will also come apart. That is not durability, that is a refill plan wearing durability's jacket. Which brings us to robber number 6, the one from the top of the video, 2 slabs of aluminum and an elastic band. The Ridge. This is the single most advertised wallet in existence, and I carried one for about 2 years myself, so I am not taking cheap shots from the sidelines. Ridge does not fall apart. Mine went through the wash by accident and came out fine. And people who have carried one for 5, 6, 7 years say the same, that the thing just holds up. As a physical object, it is fine. That was never the problem. The robbery is the price. Ridge starts around $95 and climbs well past $130. It is made in China, same as the clones, and there are 1,000 near-identical versions on Amazon for $15 to $30. That is your 30-second check, by the way, the one I promised at the top. Take the exact shape of any metal wallet you are about to buy, search it on Amazon, and watch the same object appear a dozen times at a third of the price. Carriers who own a real Ridge and a $15 clone at the same time keep saying the same unsettling thing, that they genuinely cannot tell them apart, and that they may be rolling off the very same production line. Then there is the famous lifetime warranty, the thing the whole brand was built on. For years it barely covered anything, defects only, not the scratches and dents that are the only thing that ever actually happens to a metal wallet. And they quietly widened it in late 2025 to cover more, for a fee, which tells you they knew exactly how thin it was, and that warranty was always priced in. When you pay over $100 for $15 of wallet, you pre-fund about 7 replacements you will probably never claim. Ridge is not a scam. It is a $20 wallet with the marketing budget of a phone company, and if it is being shoved in front of you on every podcast and every video you watch, there is a reason, and the reason is not that it is the best wallet on earth. It is that the margin pays for the ad that sells the next one. That is the whole pattern, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Metal card holder, leather billfold, does not matter. The shape is a commodity, and what you are actually paying for, over and over, is the name stamped on it, the ad that hunted you down, and a warranty you funded yourself. But it genuinely does not have to work this way, because plenty of brands put your money into the actual wallet instead of into finding you. So here are 5 that are worth every penny, from the budget end all the way up to the one in my pocket right now. Worth it. Number 1. Allett makes a slim nylon wallet, around $45, and it is the thinnest thing in this entire video, thinner than a lot of the phone cases you are carrying right now. It is ripstop nylon, the tear-resistant stuff, and the card slots face inward so nothing ever slides out on you. Most $40 wallets feel like a gas station impulse grab. This one does not. And the part that matters most for this crowd, carriers keep reporting they have run the same Allett for 5 years straight, and it simply refuses to wear out. Nylon does not crack the way cheap leather does, and it does not dent the way aluminum does. If you want out of the overpriced metal game entirely, and you want the most years for the least money, this is where I would start. It will not win a beauty contest, and it will not develop some gorgeous patina. It just works, year after year, until you forget it is even in your pocket, which for a wallet is the whole point. Quick one before we go on. If this is already saving you from a bad $90 decision, do me a favor and subscribe. I pull apart a gear category like this every week, brand by brand, with no sponsor sitting off camera bending the verdict. Now, back to the good ones. Almost nobody talks about Vaultskin, and that is exactly why Worth It number 2 keeps landing on my list. British outfit, top grain leather card wallets in the $70 range, and the reason it is a hidden gem is that it goes head to head with wallets costing twice as much and quietly wins. You get real leather that patinas, genuine YKK zippers on the models that use them, so the one moving part is the good kind and not a plastic afterthought, and a carrying capacity that is honestly a little ridiculous for how slim it stays. 10, 12, 15 cards in something that still vanishes in a front pocket. A guy I know at a coffee shop pocket dump meetup carries one that replaced a bifold, a card holder, and the little zip pouch he kept coins in. All 3 jobs in one wallet, and 3 years in it still rides thinner than the metal one it sat next to. This is the whole thesis of the channel sitting in one wallet. Same job as the $70 name brands, better materials than most of them, and zero advertising budget baked into the sticker because you had to go find it instead of it ambushing you on a podcast. One honest word before the next pick. About a feature every single brand here prints on the box. RFID blocking. The little shield icon. The promise that some guy with a scanner in a crowd is going to lift your card number straight through your jeans. In the real world, that is close to a non-problem. Your bank and the chip in the card already handle the fraud side, and the scary demonstration videos exist mostly to sell you the wallet with the shield on it. It is a fine bonus when it is there. It is not worth $1 extra, and it is definitely not a reason to choose the metal one over the leather one. Do not let a little icon do your thinking. Bellroy is Worth It number 3. And it is the one I end up pointing people to more than any other. The slim sleeve runs around $80, and it is quality leather from certified tanneries. Thin, smart layout, a warranty measured in years, and it ages gracefully instead of just getting beat up. For most people, this is the sweet spot. The wallet that looks right at a nice dinner and still slides into a front pocket. Here is the honest part, and Bellroy owners are refreshingly upfront about it. Somewhere around year 3, the leather softens and tires at the fold. This is a several years wallet you will genuinely love, not an heirloom. And that is exactly what $80 should buy, which is completely fine. Not everything in your pocket has to last forever. $80 for a leather wallet you actually enjoy and replace once a decade is a fair trade, and it is a very different thing from paying over $100 for aluminum and a logo. Here you are paying for real leather and real design, not for an ad that chased you across the internet. Remember everything Ridge and Groove got wrong? A Canadian brand called Fantom went and did it right, and that makes it Worth It number 4. Fantom runs around $130, which is real money, no way around it. But look at where the money went. Every single part is metal, the trigger included. No plastic in the one place it actually counts. Reviewers hung a 25-pound weight off that trigger and it held. And unlike the Groove, the cards do not tumble out when you shake it. This is the wallet you were hoping Ridge or Exter would turn out to be. And this is the one place a higher price is not the robbery. You cannot pull up this all-metal trigger on Amazon for $15, because the mechanism is what your money buys here, not a shape you can get for pocket change. Now the honest caveat that rides along with any metal card holder, and it is a real one, so I will not skip it. Cards live a hard life against bare aluminum. The printed numbers can wear down over the years, and you are not fitting cash or coins in one of these. Metal comes with strings, and it always has. But if you have decided you want a slim metal wallet, do not pay the premium for a plastic trigger and a good story. Pay it for the one where the money went into the actual build. Which brings me to Worth It number 5, and the best wallet I own did not come from any brand with an advertising department. The one in my pocket right now is a handmade veg tan leather card holder I have carried for about 6 years, and it honestly looks better today than the day I got it. Mine came from a little leather worker I stumbled on years ago. And the pick I will point you at by name, so you have somewhere to start, is Ezra Arthur, handmade in Arizona, around $75, cut from thick veg tan horsehide with a lifetime warranty on the stitching. Horsehide is denser than cowhide, so they can cut it thin without it going floppy, and instead of wearing out, it just goes darker and better looking every year you carry it. This is the buy once, cry once wallet. But Ezra Arthur is really just one good door into the actual secret, which is the whole category. The carriers who have been doing this for decades will tell you the best value in the entire wallet world is a full-grain leather wallet from a small maker or a local leather worker, $20 to $75, often with a warranty that lasts as long as the person who stitched it. Guys are pulling out wallets their grandfather carried that still look better than a 2-year-old Ridge. Real leather, cared for even a little, gets to 20 years and keeps going. No metal wallet on this earth does that. So if you want the one you buy a single time and eventually hand down, this is the aisle, and the wild part is it costs less than the logo does. So here is the entire thing in plain language. The wallet market is not built to sell you the best wallet. It is built to sell you the wallet with the biggest ad budget, and those two are almost never the same object. The tell itself is always the same, and now you can read it. When the price is mostly warranty, marketing, and a name, and a company a third the size makes the identical thing for a third the money, then you were never the customer, you were the funding. If you are broke, and no shame in it, we have all been the guy who bought a beautiful wallet and then realized he had nothing to put in it. Go nylon with Allett, or grab a plain leather card holder, the kind carriers name over and over like a Travelambo, off Amazon for 15 bucks and carry it happily for years. If you want the one you keep for good, skip the metal and skip the logo, and go find a real leather wallet from a real maker. Either way, quit paying a phone company's ad budget for 2 slabs of aluminum and a rubber band. Tell me in the comments which wallet brand you think is the most overpriced, and the cheap one you have quietly carried for years that embarrasses all of them. I read them, and the best picks end up in the next video.